Welcome back, everyone. This one's going to be a little scatterbrained, as you can tell. I am literally watching Boston Invitational as I'm recording this. I did do some VOD reviews of pools. I think I'm probably only going to put up pool 2 because the pool 1 got kind of messed up. Maybe I'll go back and rewatch them and do it, but those will be up later this week. Hopefully not too much later this week. I'm also rendering one of them as I'm speaking right now, but we're watching the 3v3s. There's a few different things going on. We'll be able to, I probably should record this later because we'll be able to better assess the results, but there are some very interesting things already coming out as I'm recording this. And for example, first of all, I love 3v3s. I love the team event. In fact, that was why we were trying to host a team event at the end of March to be like the first big team event right after Set 7 came out. And I've been working on this since literally Set 1. It wasn't targeted at Set 7 then. I wanted to do it sooner. But then the Boston Invitational got announced. I'm like, okay, well, let's see how this plays out, blah, blah, blah. Long story short, it kept getting pushed out because I was trying to ensure getting support from the stores. Finally got that. And we were ready to make the big reveal, honestly, at PAX because we were going to have flyers printed up, physically handed out at PAX Unplugged, which is this coming weekend. And then on Underwhelming Barrage, Frank from the Boston Network announced that they're going to be doing it the 20th. Our intent was to do it the 28th, and that kind of took all the wind out of the sails. So now the announcement was officially made at Biattle 2 that they are definitely doing it, and it's going to be in Jersey where we were going to be hosting it at Top Deck Games. So we'll see how this plays out. I had messaged Frank this week. As soon as I heard it on Underwhelming Barrage, I paused the show and messaged him and said, hey, we were planning on doing this. Let's coordinate. And obviously, since he traveled to Atlanta, probably going to be squaring all that away this week. Getting him in touch with everybody here. We're going to try and figure out. Hopefully, we can still do stuff, but I don't know. We'll see. We will see. But also coming out of Seattle, as I started with the team event, I do love the team events, but they are not going to. I think there's ideas. It's important to look at it just because it is high-level competitive play, and there are ideas that could be taken from there and applied to, say, 1v1, solo, singles, whatever you want to call it. And I think it's going to be tough because, we're watching Chrono here, for example. We did see a Talzin do halfway decent in the pool 2, I believe. It was definitely on stream, but I assume it bubbled out because it's not in the top 16, which we're going to talk about in a second. I don't know how much information can be taken, but for example, Grumpy Elephant here, it did also do very well, or their teammates did do very well. Pasquale is also on Anakin Data Vault and performed very well and so is Tyler. I'm looking at the list now. So it looks like the whole McClunky team, just about. Maybe not the whole team, because I know we saw Titanic on Han1 Green. And bottom line is, there's information you could glean from this, but you have to take it with a grain of salt. You have to do some investigation, some assessment on what we're looking at, because realistically, it is a different format. There are constraints. There are different things. It's like looking at block versus regular constructed if you played other games, sort of thing. To a degree, it is much closer because it isn't that different. However, the notable thing, several notable things, is that there were only 2 villainy decks that top 16 this event, which is wild. Absolutely bonkers when you think about it. But personally, I think blue-green villain or blue villain in general is kind of poised to do something, because a lot of these decks feel like they should, on paper, be soft to that, but maybe they aren't. We are at the point in a format where just the critical mass of certain effects means that you may be able to fight through what ostensibly are bad matchups. And I mean, we saw Ian and other people pilot Yoda Tarkentown. They even openly said that they expected that aggro would eat it alive. There's one that made it. There are some aggro decks in here, but it is kind of on the lower end. There's a lot of mid-range piles, and that makes me very, very sad. I didn't love it in the last format. I'm going to hate it here. But there are a few different options if you want to play other things. Notably, Piet, which was kind of one of the big boogeymans that people were talking about coming into this format, didn't seem to do so hot. We'll have to see. It still has to be played out at the time of this recording. As I said, we're watching 3v3s. We're a little bit over, as in, I believe the 1v1s were supposed to start about 5 minutes ago. It happens. Now, another thing that's come up recently that is kind of a pet peeve of mine, and it really shouldn't be because it's very, very silly, is people preparing for rotation. I understand the excitement around rotation. I understand wanting to get a jump on it. What I think people are underselling is that we have an entire other set. It's not just, oh, well, these are the things that are good if you cut out all of the set 1, 2, and 3 cards. There's an entire other set that is going to dramatically impact the scope and the face of the meta with the introduction of cards. And I'm not saying just, oh, well, these things supplement strategies that exist that will then be catapulted to the forefront. There will be entire decks that don't exist today and literally cannot exist because the cards don't exist yet that will exist when set 7 releases. Imagine if we got rid of sets 1, 2, and 3. Well, it's a weird comparison there, but like leading into set 4, piloting didn't exist. It's a different way to phrase what I was going to say. The pilot decks literally could not exist without set 4 because the piloting mechanic didn't exist. The force mechanic did not exist until set 5. Now, you can make the same argument that, oh, well, the plot decks don't exist without plot, but they aren't really doing very well right now. The point is that not only are decks going to fall away, not only are some decks going to rise or fall, their stocks are going to rise or fall based on what cards are released, what cards leave, that sort of thing. It's also going to be entire new archetypes introduced into the game. The point is that I get the excitement. I am looking forward to rotation as well, just from a change of pace. I am very much fearful of their intended design direction, which is, so I guess I'm not excited. I am anxious about rotation for that reason. However, I can't begrudge anybody for starting to poke around with things, especially depending on how your PQ schedule lines up. But I would just caution anybody about jumping to conclusions. It's way too early to say, oh, well, this is the winner of rotation, this is whatever. Because it's entirely possible that a new archetype that comes in completely changes the relationship, like the rock, paper, scissors relationship between existing decks. And therefore, whatever you thought was going to be number one just doesn't even exist because it can't compete against the things that are going to commonly be there. Is that very likely? That you're going to find like everything that you're discovering is completely upended? No, like, look, there are going to be trends, and is Chancellor Palpatine or like a plot deck going to exist? Is a pilot deck going to exist? Is a force deck going to exist? Yes, like some of those things are going to exist. And you have to accept at the end of the day that if you pull back to and abstract things to a certain degree, it's kind of meaningless. Like saying a pilot deck will exist. Well, there's like 8 different pilot archetypes. Which one? And that's the important thing, because you prepare for them differently beyond just, oh, I'll play upgrade removal. Given the existence of Cinta, upgrade removal may not even matter. Is it a force deck? Well, you kind of prepare against a lot of force decks in similar ways. Kill every force guy, but they are going to present different top ends, different specific force things. Like if it's yellow villain, it's going to have shields, or villain seems to have shields anyway because of Tyrannus. Or is it going to be, come into play effects on the hero side? Is it going to be late game trying to get to Yoda? Is it going to suddenly be Avar Kriss? I don't know. We'll have to see. But in both veins, to tie it together, both on the future as well as the more immediate future for this meta, there's a lot of things that need to get examined. And I mentioned in the comments of Underwhelming Barrage because Ian and CJ pointed it out. think CJ actually said it, but I'm actually having fun thinking about SWU right now, which is not something that I could say for probably like the last 6 months. I was not having fun playing SWU, and now I am. It's the bottom line. And I think that's the most important metric to measure the game by. But anyway, that's going to do it for this one. So as always, everybody, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And tune in next time for more Random Thoughts.